Vargas. Swung on and missed a perfect game.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter. This is a no-hitter. It is gone. It is a walk-off home run for Justin Turner. It's over. Muncy, a walk-off home run. This is way back. Walk 'em off. Chris Taylor.
The Dodgers have made a trade and we're breaking it all down. Is it something, nothing, or everything? We've got the roster moves revealed. Also, the Texas baseball massacre yesterday. Gavin Lux's future and what are the Dodgers going to do with Miguel Vargas? All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam. It's a double for Freddie. Monkey magic.
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation? Doug McKain here, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor and subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and most importantly, comment Go Tani down below so you're eligible for our next giveaway. That is a Shohei Ohtani Dodgers Authentic Gray jersey. All you have to do is two things to win the jersey. One, be subscribed to the channel, and two, comment Go Tani down below. That's all you need to do, so be sure to do that. And just a reminder that today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Bet Online. Bet Online is your #1 source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game is over, head over to their online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. And of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, the Dodgers trade for Cavan Biggio is something, nothing, or everything. And 51% of you say something, 47% of you say nothing, and 2% of you say everything. And of course, I got super producer Mr. Tony Taters rocking with us as always. Tony Taters, is the trade for Cavan Biggio something, nothing, or everything?
I just want to make sure. How's the audio doing? Pretty good? Pretty good?
Pretty good.
I think we're good. I mean, Cavan Biggio, I don't think they really need him. I would have rather seen Miguel Vargas stay with the club, to be honest. So I'd say nothing.
Nothing. How about you, Mr. Noel Sanchez?
Nothing.
I am pretty sad to see Miggy go back down, especially after that iconic meme he just gave us yesterday.
Yeah.
But he still has a ton of potential. They're going to use those options, and I do think that the trade, it's something. I don't think it's anything too crazy, but I do hope to see a little production come out of it. So I'll give it a something.
Certainly does have the potential to be, at the very least, something. I agree with you, Mr. Noel Sanchez, our guru on social media, always producing that fire content on IG, X, TikTok, everywhere. He's the social media guru here at Dodgers Nation. So definitely give him a follow at Noise by Noel. But we got some breaking news to get into, so let's get right into it. It was reported by Jeff Passan early this morning that the Dodgers had made a trade for Cavan Biggio. Passan tweeted out, the Los Angeles Dodgers are acquiring super utility man Cavan Biggio in a trade from the Toronto Blue Jays, sources tell ESPN. Biggio, 29, was designated for assignment by the Blue Jays last week. He's slashing 200, 323, 291 this year, and 227, 343, 382 for his career. So you guys know that anytime there's a trade, it's a big deal, especially within the Dodgers organization, because sometimes it's a move on the margins, sometimes it's a precursor to a bigger move. But let me know down below in the comment section on all your takes on the Cavan Biggio trade, because the first thing that we got to talk about when it comes to Cavan Biggio is, one, what is his role going to be on this team? Because I think when you look at someone like Cavan Biggio, a player that has flashed some potential, he was a top prospect at one point. Yes, the name on the back of his jersey definitely helps his stock and his status in this league. Of course, his dad is Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, but Cavan Biggio has had some moments in Major League Baseball. And I think for me, what really stands out is what I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks with Kike Hernandez playing mostly at third base with Max Muncy down with an injury. The offensive production, he had the home run against the Yankees. He had a couple extra base hits in the Pirates series. But for the most part, the production, especially against right-handed pitching, has been down significantly. And you look at Kike, I mean, I think what they're going to do is you could pair Kike and Cavan Biggio at third base potentially, because that's one thing that Cavan Biggio brings you. He's played third, he's played second, he's played in the outfield, and that definitely is something that this organization looks at. They look at that positional versatility, and you know that's something that they value. I mean, you look at throughout his entire career, he's had some decent years. He's had some years where you say, okay, this is someone that is going to be an everyday player in Major League Baseball, someone that's going to have success and be a role player. And unfortunately in Toronto, what happened was you had those three big names, right? You had Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you have Bo Bichette. Of course, we love Bo Bichette. You have Cavan Biggio, and two of the three end up becoming all-stars. Two of the three end up being elite-ish players for certain stretches. But unfortunately for Cavan Biggio, after that promising start there in 2019 and 2020, really started to trend in the wrong direction. But if you look at the start he had in 2019, 100 games, hit 234, had a 115 weighted runs created plus, hit 16 home runs. So an above average bat with some positional versatility and some pop, and also a very impressive walk rate, a 16.5% walk rate early on in his career. Strikeout rate has always been on the higher side. Last year, it ballooned up to 32.1% during this current season. So definitely the strikeout rate has trended in the wrong direction. But you look at 2020, 122 weighted runs created plus, trending in the right direction. Then all of a sudden, starting in 2021, that's when he started to struggle. 2021, 79 games, was injured, definitely has had some durability issues, had an 84 weighted runs created plus, and he followed that up with a 97 weighted runs created plus season, had just 6 home runs. So the power's been down, the production has been down, and that's kind of the big question if you're the Dodgers, is he your classic, okay, he's someone that we can retool, and it's a change of scenery guy that we put in our system with our coaching, with our development tools? Do you get the best out of him? Do you get the former version of him that had some potential? Because, I mean, you look at this season, I mean, 200, 323, 291, a career worst strikeout rate of 32%. That's definitely not going to get it done, right? But I think a change of scenery and a good situation, I definitely think that Cavan Biggio brings some potential. I think he makes sense as someone you bring in as a flyer, right? He's a perfect guy you take a flyer on, even though they haven't had a lot of success with him in Toronto this season. But guess what? The Dodgers, they've struggled in the bottom of the lineup. They haven't been able to get very much production at all, whether it be second base, whether it be left field, and they're towards the bottom in essentially every offensive category, with guys like Chris Taylor and Kike Hernandez really having their ups and downs. Gavin Lux, 8 for his last 22, had a 2-hit game yesterday. He's definitely starting to turn the corner step by step, brick by brick. But on the year, Gavin Lux / slashing 223, 227, and 297 in 188 plate appearances coming off that ACL injury. So the first option with Cavan Biggio is you could platoon him at third with Max Muncy out, dealing with the oblique injury, dealing with the rib injury, and you can see what you can get out of him with Kike Hernandez in there against left-handed pitching. You have Cavan Biggio in there against right-handed pitching, and really Biggio's splits throughout his career have been pretty even, but that could be the first step. Another option is with Cavan Biggio. If things don't trend in the right direction with Gavin Lux still has options, and you can send down Gavin Lux without his consent. Whereas Biggio does have options, but he has the 5 years of service time, right? So he has to have his consent. So one thing you could consider doing is, if he looks promising early on, you get some pop out of him, he's someone who's benefiting from being in a better organization, a fresh start for him. If you like what you see and then Gavin Lux struggles, then you can play him at second base, and you can have Mookie at shortstop. And then when you have lefties on the mound, you can have Miguel Rojas at shortstop and then Mookie at second base. So you can take a little bit of the shortstop workload off of Mookie Betts. So that's an option as well. So we will continue to break this one down. Cavan Biggio has been traded to the Dodgers. We're going to get into the player the Dodgers traded to the Blue Jays. This morning, I spoke to a reporter, a Blue Jays insider, about Cavan Biggio. Going to keep it anonymous here, but what he told me was about, I said, describe the Cavan Biggio experience. And he told me when he's good, he's really, really good. When he's bad, he watches strike three down the middle 100 times. So one of the cons for Cavan Biggio is someone that, for whatever reason, he's taken the third strike more than any player in Major League Baseball since he's been in the show in his opportunity. So that's something that I think the Dodgers can work on, is pitch recognition, approach at the plate. And I think that that's an area where he could have success. And look, you're going to see someone that is going to platoon, right? And he's, for his career, an above average bat. Think about that. Think of the guys that are on this current Dodgers team this season. I mean, it's below average bat after below average bat in the bottom of the order. If Gavin Lux was hitting 103, had a 103 weighted runs created plus right now, or Chris Taylor had a 103 weighted runs created plus right now, or the same with Kike Hernandez, you would say those guys are on it. Those guys are good enough to have in this lineup, right? So if you could get what his career numbers are, you'd feel really good about that if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers. So definitely not against this move. Do I think it's everything? No, but I think it's more than something. I definitely think that the Dodgers can realize and identify potential. They can spot talent out of the window of a moving train. And I think Cavan Biggio could be the latest example of that. And when you look at how much it's going to cost them this year, heading into this season, he was earning $4.21 million, has about $2.5 million left, just under $2.5 million. And the Dodgers, of course, they're in the top bracket of the luxury tax. They're going to be paying 110% of that salary. So you look at that, it's going to cost them roughly around $5 million for Cavan Biggio's services. So for me, that's another example of this Dodgers team. They're all in, right? They pushed the chips in the middle of the table. They took off the Rolex watch. They threw it in there. They took off wife's earrings, threw it in there. They had the lien on the mortgage in there too. This Dodgers team is all in on winning a championship this season. Also think it could be a precursor to another move. But we're going to keep breaking this down, but I want to hear your takes. Biggio equals CT3 SK. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that right now I would rather see Cavan Biggio at the plate than CT3, okay? And yeah, I'm not saying he's a Nepo CT3 or anything like that because of his last name. That's not the case. If you're in Major League Baseball, you're here for a reason. Mike M says $5 million for CT3 2.0. Bilal K, at worst, this guy is a cheap depth player. Absolutely. And there's no doubt about that. I feel for Vargas. We're going to talk about Miguel Vargas, but this hurts me because we know he is a player that I am the conductor of the Miguel Vargas hype train, and he unfortunately gets optioned. But with the Eliezer Hernandez DFA, the Dodgers had an open spot on the 40-man roster, but to get him on that 26-man roster, Miguel Vargas was optioned. He was optioned, and I think at this point, Miguel Vargas, he's flashed some potential. He has shown that the hit tool is there. He's 5 for 20 with 3 doubles and a home run since being called up. But the issue I have is why the hell did he not get more at-bats than Chris Taylor? Why did he not get more plate appearances than Chris Taylor? Miguel Vargas, 23 plate appearances compared to Chris Taylor's 31 plate appearances since Miggy Varg was called up. That's something that I find frustrating because Miguel Vargas has true hit tool in his ability, right? His hit tool, you can make the case, is advanced for his level of experience and where he's been. And there's more of an east-west swing to Miguel Vargas since he's been called up. It looks more like the swing that we saw for so many years down at the minor league level that turned himself into one of the better hitting prospects in Major League Baseball. But the moral of the story here is you have to be able to play defense and you have to have some positional versatility. And clearly this is an indication that the Dodgers did not feel good about Miguel Vargas' defense and left. But the truth of the matter is Miguel Vargas has nothing to benefit himself. There's nothing for him to do down at AAA. He's not growing down there, okay? It's like a college player going down and playing a high school at this point, okay? We don't need to see that from Miguel Vargas. He's proven for long enough stretches that he can hit consistently and be a productive hitter at that level. He just needs experience and reps at this level to see what he can do. So I would not be surprised to see the Dodgers do what they did with Michael Busch, and that is trade him to a team for a prospect that they can use to replenish that farm system, like what they did when they traded Michael Busch to the Cubs. You get Jackson Ferris. Jackson Ferris, he's nasty, left-handed pitcher. And the most important thing about this is the Dodgers, they value roster spots. Okay, that's the currency that they value. You need the roster spots. And if you trade for a player and then you have guys that you can't keep on the 40-man roster, that makes it difficult. So I think that what they want to do is be able to have that pipeline of prospects that they can use to either develop into key contributors or be able to use as trade chips later on down the line that they don't have to keep on the 40-man roster. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that with Miguel Vargas or include him in a trade for a shortstop or a outfielder or a relief pitcher or another impact player, because I think teams out there, you can already identify the potential Miguel Vargas. But yeah, I'm sick. But at the very least, we got this epic meme from Miguel Vargas. I want to put that up there. I don't see it. It's not working on the button, but we got the Miggy Varg meme. And this clearly is the face he makes when they told him that, yeah, you're going down because, you don't have a, it's cool. We'll get back to that. We'll work on that little pre-show next time. Richard Flores, a super chat. Andrew went dumpster diving behind the Dollar Tree again. Better glove, but another useless bat. Our reserves are bad. Seen better benches in a park. Wow. You're just... I don't think any of these are working, to be honest with you. So I'll just forget the stream deck on today's show. But yeah, it's all good in the hood. So yeah, I mean, look, the truth of the matter is, sure, you can look at it as dumpster diving. You look at it as him shopping on the dollar menu. But we've seen these moves. I mean, look at just last year. You got Eddie, you got Ahmed Rosario, you got Kike Hernandez, and you did the same exact thing. It was because you realized that there was a position on the diamond that you were not getting consistent production from, that you wanted to find a way to see if you could do it through platooning. Last year at the deadline, you got Kike, you got Ahmed Rosario, and you look at the bottom of that lineup. And it's just been a lack of production through the entire season. Through the course of 68 games now, the Dodgers 7, 8, 9 hitters, they're combining to hit 207, 274, 318. I mean, that's a combined OPS to be 24th in Major League Baseball. So that's 24th in the show when it comes to their production from their 7, 8, 9 hitters. And yesterday you got a couple hits from Gavin Lux got a home run from Jason Hayward, but it just hasn't been consistent enough. And we're going to talk about yesterday's game in a little bit, but some more takes here on Cavan Biggio. Okay, we got 2 super chats. We got D_Nation Live. Why move Miggy down instead of DFA CT3? Well, easy answer there is you have options on Miguel Vargas, but if you want to DFA Chris Taylor, it's going to cost you $22 million because that's how much the Dodgers still owe CT3 through this point of the season. Do you want to eat that money? A little bit of the sunk cost fallacy there, right? We invested in you. We want to try to take advantage of that, right? So there's definitely something to be said with Chris Taylor and thinking, yes, he's 9 for 90. Yes, Chris Taylor has a -1, a -1 weighted runs created plus. So Chris Taylor, look, I don't want to beat a dead horse here and just continue to try to dance on Chris Taylor's grave because I still think there is a universe where somehow, some way, I don't know, the hamstring starts flaring up, the shoulder gets sore, and Chris Taylor finds a way to make, oh my Lord. This is the biggest super chat in Dodgers Nation history. This is insane. This is going towards the Teoscar Hernandez extension. We got Kelly Oshiro, 490. Kelly, can I just give you, can you take that back and just Venmo me or Zelle me, please? But we got $100 for each homer. Yes, that's from Kelly Oshiro. That was so much fun. Kelly Oshiro. That is a comment of the show. Absolutely go. If I had buttons working, I'd play sounds here, but we don't have that. Maybe we'll include that towards getting new equipment here that works. So we'll work on that. But Kelly Oshiro cannot thank you enough. $100 for each homer. That's going towards the. That's definitely going towards the Teoscar Hernandez extension fund. But thank you so much, Kelly. That really means a lot. I really, really appreciate that. No Bo, someone put an extra 0. LOL. Yeah, did you put an extra 0? I have to send you something back, but that's pretty awesome. He definitely is not worth that 20 million. Suck up the 20 million and get a better player. Yeah, look, there's no doubt about it. I mean, let's just be honest. That's just the truth of the matter here. But I still think they think that he'll be able to make it back in some capacity after a phantom IL stint and go down to Arizona, retool that swing, and see if mentally you can recalibrate just a little bit. And then you got a legitimate reason to have minor league rehab starts. And when you have that and you're playing down in AAA, but it's not looking like you're accepting a demotion, then you can find a way to get your groove back. So, hey, D-Mac needs to do a shoey for every 100. Maybe on Friday's show, I'll do that for sure. D-Mac, take Kelly to the 35er. That bartender, though, Nando. 3 if I had a bro, I'd play it. We got LOL, I'd hit 100 in AAA. That's from BC. CV Martinez, I don't know about that. Dang, awesome. That's really great stuff. We got Kevin Uhas over here. D-Mac, what is this, an entry trade to get Bo Bichette? Look, I mean, that's what people were saying this morning. I'm not saying that this is almost like, yeah, that's how I felt when I saw this trade this morning, right? It's Cavan Biggio and not Bo Bichette, and it's a trade with the Toronto Blue Jays, right? It almost feels like you have these expectations. You see a trade with the Blue Jays and you think, oh my God, this is it. But nah, it's still a good trade. But the fact that they're doing deals, the fact that they are at a point where clearly it's not a situation where you're worried about, okay, the optics of what happened in the offseason with Shohei Ohtani, right? Clearly that and everything that transpired with that isn't an issue. And the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, they're natural trade partners. They've done deals for years, but it almost feels like you're buying a Prius after you realize you couldn't afford the Tesla type thing, and then you convince yourself that you're happy and you're pretending to be happy with the Prius when you wanted the Tesla, right? It's kind of one of those things, like the Chrysler 300 and not a Rolls-Royce Phantom, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think for me, Cavan Biggio, things I look at, like I said, 93 weighted runs created plus, but you got the 105 weighted runs created plus against righties, and you don't have much of a platoon split throughout his career and 100 weighted runs created plus against lefties. So he's pretty solid and decent against left and right. You don't have a massive drop off there. And for the most part, I just think this does make a lot of sense. Cavan Biggio right here on your Los Angeles Dodgers. And the other thing too, you always got to talk about the guy who got traded, and it was really nothing too major to discuss because, I mean, when you look at a deal like this, you're not going to be overly concerned about a minor league player, especially when you're a Dodgers team that's doing your best to try to win this season. But it wasn't a cash considerations deal. It wasn't a deal where they said, okay, let's just throw in something that you don't have to worry about. They end up giving up a pretty decent minor league pitcher in return. And I was talking to a scout this morning, and basically kind of the rub on that is he was someone that definitely in 2018 when he gets drafted, yeah, he was struggling. He dealt with injuries, wasn't someone that they had high expectations or they weren't extremely high on. But yeah, for the most part, I think that, look, the Dodgers have a reputation out there for developing, and other organizations see Braden Fisher, who the Dodgers gave up, as someone that, okay, has some potential. And when these guys work out, it helps you to lock down future trades down the line. And this year, Braden Fisher, I mean, he struck out 30 of 90 opponents. I mean, that's a pretty damn good strikeout rate. That's definitely really good. And the walk rate was low. I mean, 15 walks and 90 at bats against him. And you look at, I mean, that's just really solid. His punch out stuff, 32.7% last season. So definitely someone who has some potential, but not someone who is going to be someone you're going to really miss. A scout told me this morning that his ceiling would be as a kind of back end-ish major league reliever. So not really missing too much. But another thing I always want to know too is, what number is he going to wear? What number is Cavan Biggio going to wear? And it was reported by Jack Harris of the LA Times that he's going with number 6. He's going number 6. That's a big time number, man. That's Carl Furillo's number. That is Steve Garvey's number. That is Kenny Lofton, one of my favorite players growing up. Kenny Lofton. How about the great Jerry Hairston Jr.? How about Trey Turner? How about David Peralta? But also the disrespect to Taylor Trammell. Taylor Trammell getting that disrespect, right? I mean, that was going to be unofficial, and you were going to just unretire that one. But coming up next, we are going to continue to talk about this trade and the Texas Baseball Massacre. The Dodgers beat up on the Rangers. They rough up the Rangers. They win by a final score of 15-2. We're talking about that next here on Dodgers Dugout Live.
What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. I'm here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel for all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, interviews, breakdowns, live streams, and more all year long. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to help the channel out, smash that like button. Also, you will not be eligible for any of our giveaways unless you are subscribed to the channel. So all you need to do to be eligible for all of our giveaways is just make sure that you are subscribed. We just gave away a brand new authentic Mookie Betts jersey valued at over $350, and we got tons of giveaways coming this offseason. So be sure to be subscribed so you are eligible to win. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and please subscribe.
And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live. By the way, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to Dodgers Nation's YouTube channel, the #1 YouTube channel for your boys in blue. High videos, live streams, news, rumors, all that more, Monday through Sunday, 24/7, 365. You definitely want to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. More people talking about Cavan Biggio. Mark says, I love it. We got, yeah, I mean, I agree. Look, I mean, what you're essentially getting is he gives you another option down the lineup, but the big difference is this is a left-handed bat, right? This is someone that can provide you that from that side of the plate. So yeah, to me, it's a flyer we're taking. I definitely agree with you. Bilal K says when the Dodgers traded Pepio for Glasnow, a number of you didn't agree. Although Pepio had made the roster, he was technically still a prospect. Stop hoarding prospects. You know the mentality here. Parades over prospects, okay? I've said it before. I'll say it again. I should get a t-shirt made at this point. And yeah, when you think that there's a win now piece, you absolutely go and get it. And that has to be the mindset every single time. We got Gavin Lux is coming back from a catastrophic injury. He'll be fine. Kike is recovering from 2 years of playing with 2 sports hernias. I'm afraid Taylor is just toast. Yeah, I mean, look, saw some really good at-bats yesterday from Gavin Lux. He's 8 for his last 22. If the question is Gavin Lux improving or is he getting worse? The truth of the matter is he's getting better. The defense has been really good all season long. Offensively, the struggles were glaring early on, but this is someone coming back off, like you said, a catastrophic knee injury. So there's no denying that. Having said that, I do think that the big issue with Gavin Lux is just the fact that there is zero positional versatility, and he's playing a position that Mookie Betts should be playing, and that's second base. And by the way, Mookie Betts, I just want to follow up on yesterday's show because, yes, I did point out that offensively, by the metrics, Mookie has been at or near the bottom in essentially every single stat, but it's also someone that's playing shortstop at age 31. The fact that he's doing that is a miracle, right? I mean, you're just not going to see those position changes, right? And to see Mookie Betts do that at the very least, a below average level where he's just not run off the field, run off the diamond, is still definitely impressive. We got, yeah, but Mookie is suffering. He's not worth the trade. What do you, but yeah, Mookie's suffering is not worth the trade up. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. We're in a mind meld here. Smash that like button like yesterday's Dodgers home runs. That's from Lance Jennings. We have a Trastro on the team now. Face blue smiling. We got Metal Reeves, Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame father, Hall of Fame son. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that there's really enough time in Cavan Biggio's career to really think that he's going to find his way in Cooperstown. I mean, when you look at the fact that something that he has dealt with too is injuries. He has been pretty injury prone throughout his career, but he did play 111 games last year. He's played in 44 games this season, but he has 336 hits in 6 years and he's 29. So yeah, he's not going to be making the Hall of Fame. So we got to, is Andre Lipsius the real deal? We definitely talked a lot about Andre Lipsius. I definitely think he's someone that could deserve an opportunity with the success that he's had down at OKC. Kevin Uhas, DMAC, what if this is an entry? Okay, we already got that one. Jonathan King, Vargas needs playing time. This option is not beneficial for this player or team. I could not agree with him more. I'm pounding my fists on the table. Free Miguel Vargas. And yes, he did join the Dodgers meme Hall of Fame, right? He's there with the Kike phase. He's there with the Kershaw phase. I might have to use him as my new bruh for moving forward. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely someone I think they're going to be moving. Hulk Smash, we got a $4.99 super chat. 8 for 22, true, but can't field. Give me some bows, some bullpen help. Get this damn trophy. That's from LFG Dodgers. We got to LA Lou. We are starting to get production from the bottom of this lineup. Lux is starting to hit. Pages is continuing to progress. And Miggy Rowe has a better bat with us. Biggio gives us more right-left options. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've talked about on this show. Cost-wise, he makes sense. Fit-wise, he makes sense. I think that he could. There is a world, like I said earlier in the show, where by season's end, if things go in certain directions, he could be the primary second baseman for the Dodgers. He could make a spot in the outfield. He has pop. He has proven in the past that he can definitely step into a role. And when you look at Miguel Rojas, who can handle shortstop, but he's been dealing with some soreness. He went 0 for 5 last night. Mookie Betts, I think there's no way that he's going to play the entire season at short. I just don't think that's in the cards. But we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the Texas baseball massacre that occurred last night at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers, they beat the Texas Rangers by a final score of 15-2. And this is not a Rangers team that has had issues from the pitching. This is not a team that's rotation has let them down. Even though they're an under 500 team, their rotation has been solid of late. Dunning has been solid of late. And it all starts with Will Smith. Will Smith gets a 3-run bomb early in the game. That gets the Dodgers going, and you really got to feel great about Will Smith, man. Will Smith is everything you could have ever hoped for as a Dodgers prospect that turns into a all-star, that turns into a player that goes on to sign a $140 million extension. I mean, that's beautiful stuff. I mean, the fact that he's a guy that is going to be an iconic Dodger by the end of the day, and it's the fifth time that he's gonna have a double-digit season. I mean, look at his double-digit seasons as a catcher, where he's had double-digit home runs. I mean, he's right up there. I mean, JT Realmuto, Gary Sanchez, Salvador Perez for the elite catchers in Major League Baseball. Also, 23 hits with runners in scoring position this season for Will Smith. That is tops on the team. And then with bases loaded, the sixth inning, I really think the hit of the game yesterday was Mookie Betts, the 6th inning. He comes to the plate, bases loaded. He had back-to-back singles, first by Gavin Lux, then by Andy Pajes. Jason Hayward, he was hit by a pitch. And then they bring in Jonathan Hernandez. Bruce Bochy's knees today must be sore, by the way, Antonio. Those knees must be shot. For how many times Bruce Bochy made his way back to the mound to get the ball. Well, he faces Mookie Betts, and Mookie, he cranks a double. And that clears the bases. That clears the bases because Langford, he was trying to make a playoff hit. He took the wrong angle. That allowed all 3 runners to score. The Dodgers, they go up 6-1. Mookie's doing the dance. And you're thinking, okay, that blew things wide open. This game's over. But then you jump to later in the game. In the 6th inning, the Dodgers, they were able to put up 7 more runs. A 4-home run inning for the boys in blue. Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Jason Hayward, they all go yard. We're talking about over 1,600 feet of home runs hit in that inning. And it was the first time the Dodgers had hit 4 home runs in a game. You would think this would be like a long time ago, but it was in 2021, September 29th, the 1+4 game where Mookie hit the first home run, and then Muncy, Pollock, Belly, and Seager all went deep in that 8th inning. The Dodgers won that game, and unfortunately would go on to lose to the Padres in the NLDS, so that's pain right there. But still, you would also have a home run by Jason Hayward. And yeah, this Dodgers team, 5 home runs. First time they've done that since May 4th against the Braves. So they've actually done that this season. So yeah, great offensive explosion. I would probably take 5 runs a game, maybe spread that out. We know tonight that they'll probably end up scoring 3 or 4 runs, maybe less than that because baseball is going to baseball. But yeah, big night for the boys in blue. Dodgers go yard 5 times. It was a home run derby. I thought the home run derby was supposed to be in Texas this year. But the home run derby was in LA, and it was yesterday. And my favorite thing too is they faced a position player. You had Andrew Kisner on the mound, a catcher, and he comes in the game with 1 out in the 7th inning. He averages under 52 miles per hour on the 19 pitches. He got the final 5 outs. I mean, honestly, I would rather had him start game 3 than Lance Lynn. I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, I mean, you look at 52. I mean, I thought we were going to see Ephus pitch, but yeah, really a good night for the Dodgers. You look at James Paxton, though. I want to talk a little James Paxton because Paxton this season at Dodger Stadium, it's been a very interesting experience. He has 17 walks and 13 strikeouts. So more walks than punch outs at Dodger Stadium. In his last 3 starts, he's been roughed up occasionally. I mean, the middle one in New York where he went to 3 innings and he was load managed, he pitched fine that one, but he's coming off that rough start where he gave up 7 runs in an inning and 2/3 against the Pirates, and he bounced back really, really nice. I think that Paxton did exactly what you would hoped he would do. He goes 6 innings, gives up 1 run on 2 hits, had 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. There was the sac fly, so not necessarily his fault in that situation. But if you do want to point out one concern with James Paxton, that is that, so he goes 87 pitches, gave those 2 singles, 2 walks, And those 2 base runners, I mean, he had a sac fly that brought him in. So that's the only run there that was charged to him. But in the 5-star, for this entire entire start, it faced 22 batters, a lot of hard hit contact, a lot of hard hit balls, 6 hard hit balls, 5 of them with exit velos over 100 miles per hour. So you want to reduce the hard contact, and also you want to pick up on the punch outs. Just 2 strikeouts in the 22 batters that he faced. But still, I think he went out there and he made pitches when he needed to. He got outs when he needed to. So, yeah, I definitely think that James Paxton is doing exactly what they hoped he would do for this team this year, and that is eat innings in the regular season and limit the wear and tear of some of these arms, and limit the wear and tear and some of the mileage on some of these bullpen arms, and go out there and find a way to give you 5, give you 6. And he's been durable, hasn't missed a game. He's been healthy all season. So I want to give James Paxton a little credit. We got 4-string MF home base. He 8 innings. Trade Lux while his value is okay. Larry Scott, Lux gets injured by playing dodgeball. Running the bases, enough said. Time to cut CT3. Go Tani. We got Lemon Taylor. Oh, wow. Ouch. Lemon Taylor has struggled for 3 years. You know, I kind of want to push back a little bit on that. I do, because yes, Chris Taylor, I'm not some Chris Taylor truther at this point. And yes, when Muncy comes back, either you phantom IL him or he's the guy on the chopping block. It's tough to justify a guy who's got 9 for 90 at the big league level, right? I mean, you just don't see that very often. But the idea that he was bad last year, he was an above average bat that hit 15 home runs and gave you some versatility. 2022 had a really rough start to the season, but finished just 7% below league average. Does that justify the 4-year and $60 million contract that they signed him to? No, it doesn't. And if you look back right now, you would probably have to say that that contract has not aged well, that you haven't gotten the value that you were hoping to get out of that contract. But still, I mean, this season, it's rough. I mean, a 40%, almost a 40% strikeout rate at 39.8%. Would you looked at flipping Paxton at the deadline? That's from Ben Kawucha. That's not the worst idea in the world, depending on who you could. Richard Flores, that's a burn right there. Stevie Wonder has more hits than CT3. We got, would you trade Paxton? I think it depends on a couple things. One, how healthy is your rotation at this point? Because I think your postseason rotation right now, it's right at the top, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Then the third guy is where you start having a conversation, because Gavin Stone is pitching a lot better than Walker Buehler. But will Walker Buehler get back to the guy that we saw before the injuries, where he's someone that you trusted in October? How will Clayton Kershaw look when he returns? How will Bobby Miller look when he returns, right? What will they get out of the guys that are currently not in that rotation? And do you feel good about 4 guys? After you feel good about 4 guys, whether it's a combination of Glasnow, Yamamoto, Stone, Buehler, or I think Kershaw, for me, Clayton Kershaw, if he's healthy, he just doesn't have bullpen stuff. And the sense that I get is that he's such a creature of habit and his routine. I just can't see him coming out of the bullpen. We know what happened last time that happened, right? Don't make me bring up 2019 in the NLDS, right? So I think Kersh is someone that you look to get 5 or 6 innings out of, right? That he has the feel for that slider, that he's commanding that 4-seam fastball. And I think if he's fully healthy and the velo's there, which currently it's trending in the right direction, you're seeing some 90s, you're seeing some 91s in those sim games, I fully expect somehow, some way, Kersh ends up a part of this postseason rotation, okay? I know it sounds crazy, but I think that he's such a champion. He's so competitive, and he didn't come back to come out of the bullpen. And are you really going to leave him off the roster, Clayton Kershaw? Good luck having that conversation. Clayton Kershaw will have a statue outside Dodger Stadium right next to Jackie Robinson and right next to Sandy Koufax one day, okay? And I think it's going to be the look, arms raised in the air after the no-hitter in 2014. So you're really going to leave that guy off the roster, and then you bring up James Paxton. Does he fit into the bullpen? It's possible, because you need someone that can be a mop-up guy. You need someone that can go out there in situations where if you have a big lead, you don't want to tax some of the other guys. But what concerns me about Paxton is just the lack of swing and miss. I mean, too many hittable pitches in the zone, I think it would be my concern. He doesn't profile as someone that has stuff to play up in the postseason bullpen, especially when you've got a guy like Dustin May coming back. I mean, if you look at James Paxton, I mean, this is a guy that had a K per 9 over 11, close to 12 at points in his career. This year, it's a career low 5.28. That's his K per 9. And you look at the FIP and the expected numbers, there's a lot of red flags there for James Paxton, but still, he's getting the job done. Remember, he's a rented car. When you rent a car, you don't care how you drive it, right? You don't care how you take care of it. As long as you get the insurance, you're going to drive him like a rented car, get every single inning you can out of him, and then take advantage of him throughout the course of the regular season. We got Eduardo Delgado. If you're out on Curse, you're really not a fan. That's some Eduardo Delgado over on YouTube. Pax puts the defense to work. He absolutely does. And Rocks, we got postseason rotation, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Stone, and Miller. See, that'd be pretty interesting because I think that if Miller comes back and you see shades of what we saw against the Braves on his first start of his career, what we saw on Sunday Night Baseball against the Yankees. I mean, Bobby Miller has that true pitch mix that would play up in the postseason. Yes, he didn't have his best start in the NLDS against the Diamondbacks. And I talked to Andrew Friedman when he was on the show, and we talked about Bobby Miller, and he said, I would not hesitate to give him the ball in the postseason if he got another opportunity to do so, because he has that kind of stuff and that competitive fire that you need in October. But I think what makes him so interesting is he's got a true 5-pitch mix, right? You got a 4-seam, the changeup, the curve, the slider, and the sinker, and your 4-seam averages 98.3 miles per hour. That is going to play up. But when you look at the mileage on his arm, right, pitching over 138 innings around that last season, what if he comes back and Bobby Miller's the bullpen weapon? There's a world where that's a possibility, where Walker Buehler's the bullpen weapon. Gavin Stone, I think we'll see how his year continues to trend, but he has a sub-3 ERA, and there would be no reason to take him out of the rotation at this point. So, look, competition is going to be good, and these are champagne problems if all these guys remain healthy, and I hope that we're having this conversation. But let's just be honest. If you follow this team for long enough, you know that these sort of things kind of take care of themselves in the sense that certain guys stay healthy, certain guys don't. But I think that this team is the best position that they've been in from a rotation standpoint at this point in the season than they have in years. We got Sammy Boy Smith. We need a lefty in the playoffs. Kirsch can fill that void. He should be healthy and at his best by October. He had a busted arm last October. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Kirsch was a shell of himself. I mean, he was probably 70%. And give him a lot of credit. He still took the ball. He still went out there and competed. But he just wasn't the same guy. And it wasn't the velocity necessarily. It was just the command and the bite and the depth of that slider. And I'm excited to see what Clayton Kershaw looks like when he returns to the mound after his first major arm surgery of his career, because I think, let's not forget what we saw in 2020. In 2020, we saw the best version of postseason Kersh. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he wasn't grinding out 25 or 30 starts or anything like that throughout a regular season. And he had a lot of gas left in the tank, and had 2 really good starts against the Rays, had that 13 strikeout game against the Brewers. So I'm very excited to see that. I think let's not sleep on Clayton Kershaw. I think that a lot of fans want to write him off, but I don't think that chapter has been written. But we got a 499 super chat. I woke up and thought we had Bo till it hit me. We got the other less talented kid. Why? Brian says, D-Mac, do you see Buehler, Kershaw, and May coming out of the bullpen during the playoffs? Look, I mean, just talked about it right now. I definitely think that I think Dustin May right now is one that is the surefire bet, if he's fully healthy, to be added to that bullpen, just because the stuff's so nasty. He's coming off a second major injury in just the last couple of seasons. So you're not going to thrust him into a starter's role unless you're looking to do an opener and use him as a guy where you see him in short bursts. But I think that would be the play for me. We got a 2.5 ERA before the injury. BC, yeah, he was the Dodgers' best pitcher. period, point blank. Bilal K, there are times to move on, but many have obsession issues with players. Hey, like I always say, fall in like with players, don't fall in love. But every now and then, there's those guys that are a big part of your organization, and it's tough to not see what we can get out of Clayton Kershaw. But Gonzo seems to be hurt a lot. Yeah, I mean, every pitcher seems like they're hurt a lot, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way of Major League Baseball, where pretty much 1/3 of guys are going down with injuries. We got Kershaw, the regular season Hall of Famer, October bust. Come on now. That's just not true. I'll spend a whole segment on some of the issues there. The truth of the matter, go watch my interview with Andy McCullough, where he talked about his new book about Clayton Kershaw, and it'll debunk some of these asinine takes about Clayton Kershaw. What up, D-Mac? What up, Dodgers Nation? What up, Beerus? We got Mookie won't win a shortstop Gold Glove this year, but he'll be playing at that level by the postseason. That's an extremely hot take to say he'll be a Gold Glover by the end of the season. Any updates on Dustin May? Pretty much the last update we got is that he's been throwing at the Dodgers complex down in Arizona, and that fastball is at 90 miles per hour at the moment. So you definitely want to see an uptick in velocity to 96, 97. Kind of get up there, but the good thing is the process has begun. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Let me know down below, what are your thoughts on the Dodgers trade for Cavan Biggio? He's going to be in the lineup tonight, by the way. I'm going to be at the stadium in just a couple hours, so we'll see if we get to talk to him. I'm assuming he'll be made available to the media, so hopefully we'll get to catch up with Cavan Biggio and talk to Dave Roberts and the rest of your boys in blue. And join us after the game. We'll be posting the pre and post game show stuff from Dodger Stadium, so be sure to check that out. I'm going to try to do a post game show from the stadium that I'll upload, so definitely look out for that. But that's going to do it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, comment Go Tawny down below. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue.